Hey everybody, it is hard to believe, but it is almost the end of 2024 already. We're going to talk about some of the stocks I've been buying in my portfolio over the past month or so. Before we dive in, please take a minute and check out the link you see on your screen, fool.com/Frankel. Get the top 10 stocks to buy right now from the Motley Fool. It's the best way to support this work I'm doing on YouTube. Again, fool.com/Frankel. So let's go right into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. So the first one shouldn't surprise anybody. I have been adding to my position in Realty Income. So let's quickly talk about what this kind of state of the company and why I've been adding lately. So Realty Income, pretty big company. It's one of the biggest real estate investment trusts in the world. It currently has almost a 6% dividend yield, 5.7% as I'm recording this. And it is built to grow income over time. It's got a portfolio of about 15,500 properties, most of them occupied by single tenants in either the retail or service businesses. And they're all hand-selected because they're great companies that are very recession-proof and not very vulnerable to e-commerce disruption, things like that. And just on interest rate fears, nothing really has gone wrong with the business. Just on interest rate fears alone, the stock is down by about 14%. Since late October. So it seems like a pretty good time to add to this one. Number two, first time I've added in a long time, Pinterest. Pinterest plunged after its third quarter earnings report. They had weak guidance. Ad sale prices were less than expected. Some temporary headwinds. And it is one of my largest investments, and now even more so. I've added to it in December. And I really like it. It's a non-polarizing social media platform. No one, goes on Pinterest and, starts angry battles with people like they do on other platforms. It's got a ton of e-commerce potential that they're really just starting to unlock, especially internationally, which is where most of their users are. About 80% of the user base is outside the US, and it's the least monetized part of the business so far. Right now, Pinterest is down about 30% from its 52-week high. It's actually down about 15% for the year, and that's compared to a 29% gain in the S&P 500. And most of that decline is because of the past two earnings reports, weak guidance. So I'm really paying attention to what's happening in the fourth quarter. So far, it looks like holiday retail sales are going to be better than expected. If that translates into better than expected ad revenue for Pinterest and other social media platforms, it could be a big win. Number three stock I'm buying right now is JD.com, one of the newer positions in my portfolio. Still not a big position by any stretch, but it's one that I just think is an incredible value right now. It's got about a 2% dividend yield. Management is buying back stock hand over fist. It's a leader in Chinese e-commerce, and it is on the rebound. Chinese stocks have been really under pressure lately, and it's continuing, but the company is prioritizing stimulating its economy. JD trades for a single-digit price-to-earnings multiple. It has massive buybacks right now, and there's just a lot to like about the company. So I've been building that position for the past few months, and I added a little bit more in December. Number four is Ally Financial, ticker symbol ALLY. One of my favorite stocks in the banking space right now. It's one of three bank stocks that I really still own, and I'm adding to it. It's got about a 3% dividend yield. They are the leading auto lender. If you are not familiar with Ally, they're not really a household name if you haven't bought a car lately, but they were a spinoff of GM in the financial crisis era when General Motors went bankrupt or declared bankruptcy after the financial crisis. It spun off its financial arm, which it ended up renaming Ally Financial, which is why it's concentrates on auto loans. But it's really evolved into a full-service online banking platform. It has online savings and checking accounts. It offers CDs. It has an investment platform. It offers other types of loans. And it's done a great job of managing risk while still producing great returns. Its margins are excellent. It's one of the few bank stocks that Warren Buffett still owns. For that reason, very high asset quality. And its average auto loan that it's originating now has a double-digit interest rate, even though its average credit score is relatively high. I think there's a lot of potential here. It's already a pretty big business, especially in auto lending. But on the online banking side, there's a lot of room to grow. It's got a lot of good implications or good possibilities from EV leasing, electric vehicles, as that builds out. Um, it it facilitates leases for a lot of electric vehicles, and if you are not familiar, electric vehicles often qualify for tax credits. If you buy an electric vehicle, you get the tax credit. But if you're leasing an electric vehicle, the bank, which technically owns it while you're leasing it, gets the benefit of that. So there's a lot of that's become a really interesting revenue stream. And with EVs still in the very early stages of adoption, I think it could get significantly larger in the years ahead. Number 5 is one I've talked about quite a bit, but hadn't actually pulled the trigger until very recently, and that is QuantumScape. QuantumScape is probably the most speculative stock I have in my portfolio. It's a very small position, so if you do take a look at this and decide to buy, keep your position size kind of low. This is a stock that has a very binary outcome, meaning that in 5-10 years, it's either going to do really well or it could go to zero. I don't see any scenario where QuantumScape just does okay. It's about a $2.5 billion market cap company, and it is essentially a pre-revenue company. If you're not familiar, QuantumScape is developing solid-state battery technology for electric vehicles that is, higher energy density, lower weight, a lot of quicker charging, a lot of pain points of electric vehicles could potentially be addressed with this battery technology. They already have a great working relationship with Volkswagen as well as a few other automakers, and we're getting close to production. Its first major products are starting to ship in small quantities, but it could scale up dramatically in the next few years. And if it's successful, this could really be a game-changing technology for the auto industry. And the company could end up being worth a whole lot more than $2.5 billion. QuantumScape has about $1 billion worth of cash, so plenty of runway to see through the rest of its development. I think the risk reward here makes sense. Really interesting business, and like I said, I've taken a nibble on it. I'm not going to put a lot of money into QuantumScape at this stage, but that is the 5th one that I have bought so far in 2024 or in December of 2024. So stopping my screen share real quick. So those are the 5 stocks that I've been buying in December. I can't guarantee they're going to be the only stocks that I'm going to buy before the end of the year. There's a few others on my radar. I'm going to talk about one that I'm planning to sell before the end of the year in my next video. So be sure to check that out. As always, please leave me any questions you might have. Any comments? Do you think these were good buys, or do you think I should have avoided them? Curious to hear what you think, and I'll do my best to respond to anything individually. And thanks for watching. See you next time. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from the popular product Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by nearly 5 times. So go to fool.com/Frankel to get your 10 stock picks now. The Motley Fool Stock Advisor returns are 767% as of July 5th, 2024, and are measured against the S&P 500 returns of 163% as of July 5th, 2024.